Good morning and welcome to Wake Up to Working From Home, our weekly check-in on all things WFH. Today joining Polly and I is the fabulous Alicia Kite, image consultant, personal stylist and director of the Alicia Kite Academy, where she coaches and trains others in the art of communicating visually. Morning, ladies.
Morning.
So, week 14,611, the sun is still shining, and here we are, still showing up to work and life and family, with the murmurings of a possible light at the end of the lockdown tunnel. For most of us, our days are now spent sat in front of Zoom calls, beaming and smiling back at the small boxes of colleagues, friends, and family members on our screens. But today, we're going to be talking about the other little box looking back at you, the one with you in. Personally, I've never been forced to look at myself as much as I have in the last number of weeks, and I have to admit, I don't always like what I see. You can zoom me, but just don't zoom in. So does it matter how we look? Would we feel better about ourselves if we changed out of those elasticated waists just for a day? Or has this moment in time demonstrated a new set of priorities where what we look like is less important than what we act like? This morning we're going to explore life in the small screen with Alicia, who knows a thing or two about a glamorous look, and Polly Downs, who week on week radiates love and joy with just a smile.
I thought you were going to say Polly, who doesn't know anything about it.
You were waiting for it, but actually I went kind. So ladies, what are you wearing today? What are your looks?
Oh, can we show you?
Yeah, go on, show us, Alicia. You go first.
Okay, so I decided I love a shirt. And I want it to be semi-relaxed, okay? Obviously, I did think about it with my flowers in the background.
Staged.
Bit pink, totally staged. Talk about it later.
In the camera round, Alicia. Let's have a look at the real life.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Shit it.
Because I'm a little bit decorating. Right? But I sat here and thought, oh no. So I had a picture put up, went to my garden, got some flowers, all the ants, and I start itching. The ants are crawling up my legs. Anyway, so I'll tell you what I've got on the bottom, all of me.
Go on. All the way down to your toes.
Although this is what's important, but actually all of it's important. So I've got my jeans on. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Leg up.
Jeans. Oh.
That's it. We got it.
And then I got top, which I don't like, and I realise I don't like, but I did it on purpose.
Slippers.
Got my pink slippers on. Okay.
Polly.
Back to the stage look.
I love it. Really, Polly, what about you?
Firstly, you are really mean to me with no warning.
Get up on that chair.
So, I thought I was only going to be seen from here.
Oh no, she's not got any knickers on again.
Sometimes I actually do wear high heels under the desk to give me a little feeling of power.
Yay!
Classy.
So we've got the double slipper.
I wear much better things below the waist.
Okay, well, just to make you feel better.
Oh my God.
My favourite. I'm teaming it with a white sports sock today, and it's the velour from the Marrakesh market, 50 pence, leopard print, flammable pyjama bottoms. So do we all feel like we're here now, that we've arrived, we're ready to talk about?
I feel like I'm on holiday because last time I saw you in those very lovely trousers, we were on holiday together.
We were flying to or from LA, I think.
Yeah, and he was kind of upgraded because of his trousers. He was given a whole row to himself.
I was upgraded once because I bought a Mulberry handbag which I couldn't afford, and I got on the plane with my sister and I turned right and I went, aren't we turning left? And she went, no, we're going right, get over yourself. And I went, oh my God, we're going to America all that way. Anyway, this woman, this stewardess said, is your sister all right? And she went, no, she's traumatized, she's going right. She says, yeah, but she just bought a Mulberry handbag. I went, I know. She went, no, that handbag should definitely be going left. And we got upgraded.
I thought you were going to say they just put the handbag in the seat. You get back in the coach. Anyway, we've got a thorough agenda of questions to get through. And so, Alicia, we were talking about looks and but also feelings. I think it's about how you look and how you feel. And I guess the first question is about, you know, should we be dressing up for work? You know, we're on screen, we're at home, you know, we're connecting with our work colleagues and our family. But I know you've got an opinion on this, but should we be making an effort?
Making an effort, definitely. Dressing up for work. Do you know what? This is what's interesting, because some of my clients are normally quite formal for work. And this whole Zoom thing has sent them all into what is this world about? And a lot of them have made the decision that they do not want to be formal. Right. So they are actually, so I've had to not go out, because I can't go out, can I? I've had to look online for things that maybe are slightly more relaxed, that they didn't have in their wardrobe purely for Zoom, because they want to feel more relaxed, but still polished and still professional. They want to feel it, you see. It's all about the feel.
It is funny. I mean, I have existed in tracksuit bottoms for 7 weeks, and it's funny. Rob put on a pair of jeans yesterday, a pair of skinny jeans, and he came in, and I was like, "What the hell are you wearing? Get them off!" Ridiculous. And so we did. But there is something about putting on a pair of trousers now, which feels like a real treat. It feels like we're going to see a show or something.
Yeah, but did you listen to Michael Ball yesterday? He was saying that he has not put his elastic on for 6 weeks. And
he's not worn elastic.
No, he has just worn elastic.
Yeah.
And he said he's terrified, that's the word he used, of putting his trousers back on. So you know me, I only wear elastic every other day. So today, look, structure jeans. Because if I wore elastic all the time, when I have to go back to structure, oh my God, it's like, you know, you go on holiday and then you all of a sudden put your clothes on to go home and the sun has shrunk them. Well, I'm not being silly.
That too,
If we're not careful, this could happen. Our clothes could be shrinking in the wardrobe as we speak.
So it's definitely the clothes shrinking.
I think we should be careful of our feet too, because I don't really wear shoes, and do you know that feeling after the summer when you're in flip-flops, yes. Suddenly your shoes feel really tight.
Weird, because your toes are all together again. And I guess the other thing that you talked about then, Alicia, was the background. And, you know, I just come as I am, you know, every week, I just show up, don't really make much of an effort about the background. And you made a little bit of you've done a bit of this morning kind of styling, haven't you? I feel like you've had the set dress this morning.
Yeah, but I have to disagree, because you do think about your background.
Oh, I'm taking the pick. Yeah. I mean,
and the orange.
What did you say about my ego, Alicia?
Fabulous. And also, do you know what? Your leopard, you just care about caring. You like your hair. So if you'd have got a white t-shirt on, okay, and then you spilt your coffee down it, literally 2 seconds before you were about to go on the show, how would you feel?
Well, I would probably just change it, but...
No, you haven't got time for that. You literally...
Oh, I would wear it and not give it...
Are you sure?
Probably. If I literally couldn't change it, I would just be like, oh, I spilled coffee down myself. Yeah. I think because for me, who I am is more important than what I wear. And I've always had this throughout my whole career. Like, again, fortunate enough to working in industry where it was always casual. But the more senior I got, there were more opportunities where I was getting told to pop a shirt on and all of that. And I would always just be like, no, I'm not going to.
But also it was casual, but it was consciously casual, if that makes sense. Yes. TV, isn't, you don't just roll out of bed. There is a kind of expectation of style and being well turned out. You just don't have to wear a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right on that. Like the decisions, it's a bit like on a non-school uniform day at school, where like it was the most stressful day for me because suddenly you had to choose an outfit, didn't you? That ticked all the boxes.
Well, and I think we have that in our job as coaches, actually, to quite a large degree, because you don't want to, if our aim is always to have an equal relationship. And if I was to go in my shoulder pads and the suit, there's a real sense of authority there, isn't there? Or crazy woman, but there's something quite authoritative about dressing like that. And also, if I just turned up in my denim skirt like I'm wearing today, that would look a bit like I don't really care, I think. So there's definitely a middle, we want to look sort of professional, clean, like today.
The basics covered.
No, but make it's a thought about. It has to be a thought about, because I do really believe that it does affect this. This is why I've got into this whole coaching thing and more visual coaching, because this fascinates me. How we visually communicate is amazing, and it's got more so. When I was younger, there wasn't less visual, but now everything is based on visual, like your little 70s table in the background, and everything is just so visual. So if you apply that to yourself, how you buy into things, and we're talking about working here, and if you are a coach, say, there is, I said thousands, but there must be millions of coaches out there.
Every day there's another million born.
Yeah, look. Anyway, there's only one thing that is unique about that coach, is that is themselves. And so you are the brand. So a lot of people spend a lot of time on designing websites, designing business cards, all these visual messages. But the most important product that you have to sell is yourself.
It's interesting, because I think there is that coming into, we're all kind of coaches here, and I know a lot of the people that tune in are in the coaching world. It's like there's that tension between being a coach and then selling yourself as a coach. So when I'm, a bit like what Polly was saying, when I'm working with a client, I generally wear black. It's kind of uniforming, I guess, but for me, it's easier because I don't have to make less decisions. It feels as neutral as possible so that I'm kind of not really there. But yeah, you're right. When it comes to selling me as a coach, I want to say something about who I am, I guess, and how I work and all that sort of stuff.
So if you went as a coach in your amazing leggings that you've got on now, okay?
Yeah.
Your ability for being an amazing coach is still there.
Yeah.
But the visual message that you are giving that person, they actually have made their mind up about you. Do you know what? I cannot work with this guy. Or they might say, oh my God, he is so my type. I definitely want to work with him. So before they even get to know what your ability is, they have made their mind up. And this is what I see every single day. And I want to know why I mainly, and I want to work with everybody, but I work with such successful people at the top of their game now. I've worked with them for years, but they take this very, very seriously.
I wonder what that means though now. I'm just thinking, I work with an associate organisation that's purely online based, pre-corona. And so clients select me based on a little photo, a little black and white photo and then a profile. And I always ask when we kind of begin an engagement, what was it about me that drew your eye? Like, what's the interest? Because I always find that there's something interesting in that.
Yeah.
Not just for me. And it's funny. I guess I've got the ability to present whatever I want to present on that. And again, I do a black and white. I'm wearing a black t-shirt. It's very neutral. It doesn't say an awful lot. But I guess my words, again.
What's the general answer for why they choose you?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, the theme. Well, it's more about my profile, so it isn't really anything about how I look. Well, they don't say anything about how I look. But approachability, humour, creativity, diversity of clients, that's normally... I run a masterclass, actually, and it's about personal branding for another organisation. And I do a piece in the middle of it where I ask them to analyse my personal brand. Alicia, you'd love this.
Yeah, I would.
Spot. And it's all a bit cringe, obviously, because they all just want to be nice. But I'll say, like, what is it about what I'm wearing? And again, I'm normally in a black or a navy t-shirt, or generally all one colour. And it's amazing what they pull out of just me wearing a one colour, you know, from what I'm wearing. And they may have met me for like 2 minutes at that stage. But you're right, that people do pull out stuff, don't they?
And you know, you mentioned about how when you were getting higher up, they wanted you to wear a shirt, and you were like, no way. So when I work with big companies, this is interesting. Sometimes people are really, really good at a job, okay? Yeah. And then they leave. And they go, oh my God, why have they left? And I didn't really notice them. And they don't notice them until they've left, okay? Yeah. And then I work with people who just keep going for jobs, and they get them, but they only get so far. And they come to me and say, I don't ever get promoted. What is going on? Yeah. It's a two-way thing. So sometimes your ability, people never get to see because they don't buy into you. So it's just the awareness that I want people to have. I want people to be aware that, like it or not, I don't make the rules up, but people decide about somebody based on very, very limited information to begin with. And again, you know, in coaching, they talk about visualization. You talk about gravitas, personal branding. It's like, and yeah, if I say I'm an image consultant, which I'm so not, I'm so much more than that, they go, oh, what colours should I wear? I'm like, what fucking colours? I don't, sorry.
Alicia, we'll have to bleep that out. I'm joking.
I get very frustrated because it isn't about what colours you wear. It's about what do your clothes say about you, and what do you want them to say about you?
So look, we send out a poll every week, and so the questions it's really interesting actually, the feedback. We asked, do you dress for work in the way that you did pre-corona? And 63% of people said no, but 38% of people said yes. So I'm actually quite surprised that there are more people, you know, dressing in the same way. I thought it would be a lot less.
So say it again. So
the majority of the people are not dressing for work in the same way that they did pre-corona. And I think that's not surprising. But what's surprising for me is that nearly 35% of people are. They are dressing in for Zoom and all that in the same way that they were when they were going into the office or whatnot.
But you know, the whole working look has got a lot more casual for so many industries now. But you know, the more casual you are, the harder it is.
Go on, say more about that.
It doesn't have to depend on the industry, because there are certain industries where if you looked formal, you'd look absolutely ridiculous. It's like it just doesn't go with the essence of what they do. I also think we're talking a lot about work. Not everybody watching this webinar is in a position to choose how they look for work. So if you're up at 6 feeding toddlers and 5 and 6 year olds, and then you're trying to squeeze a half hour work call in between their schoolwork, and you have got porridge on your shoulder, and you're just there with kids maybe even coming in and out of the room, does that really affect the quality of the work you're delivering? And I'd say at the moment people are so forgiving, and it really doesn't matter. So I think we might feel a bit more confident generally to be able to turn up in a clean t-shirt and not covered in porridge, but actually if that's your only time, that's all you can do. I don't think anybody's really going to be thinking, oh, she's not doing her job very well, is she, with porridge on her shoulder?
I totally agree, Polly. We're in very different times, and people are, we've got children coming in and out, you've got, and time, a lot of people have less time now because they're juggling so many balls in the air. But I would just say to everybody that at this moment in time, how you turn up as best you can in the fact that it does affect, or I believe, okay, that it affects how you feel. So I just want people to feel cuddled by what they wear. But I also want them to be aware that going forward, the messages that they are giving now, what lasting impression are they going to give? So I hear what you're saying, but I'm just saying, people say, well, does it really matter? Do you know what? I say to them, just think about it. When you see somebody, are you thinking, oh my God, I never thought they even look, they would look like that. You may be communicating over email, and now all of a sudden it's less email and more Zoom. And also, we talk about the background. I do want to think about the background a little bit, because if you're in your bedroom and you haven't made your bed, and do you think that matters? I'd be like thinking, oh, you haven't made your bed.
Well, it's funny. It would be a distraction, wouldn't it, to some degree? It would take it away. And Alicia, the other poll question was, does your mindset change when you dress for work? And 100% of people say yes. So I think there's and this is just a tiny poll of people, but it's interesting that, and I think it probably does for me as well, even though I'm really reluctant to perform or to conform in terms of the way I look. I do notice when I feel like I look nice, or if somebody pays me a compliment and says you look good, there is a slightly different spring in your step, isn't there? Mm-hmm. But I think what's interesting about right now, and the last question that we asked was, does it matter how you look in virtual work meetings right now? And again, nearly 90% of people said yes, it does matter. So I think you've got the majority here, Alicia, in terms of the argument, but I still find it, I guess maybe the question is, how do you get the motivation to give a shit about what you look like when there's so many other things that are going on in your immediate household and then in the world? How do you find the care to do that?
I think about this. I do not like exercising. I've only started doing it since this lockdown. How weird is that? So I have given myself half an hour at night and taken myself off and done a few whatever. I don't know why I have. And the thought of it, I think, oh no, I just got a biscuit. Does it matter? Honestly. But after I've done it, I feel amazing. And I think that has a lot to do with making the effort, like washing your hair or just putting a bit of makeup on or putting a bit of jewelry on. The effort, the results make you feel so much better. If you've been poorly and you haven't washed your hair for ages and then you wash your hair, it's like the best pill in the world.
It's a discipline thing, isn't it? I think that's what you're saying, is that actually...
It's self-care, isn't it? Because a sign of suffering from depression is that you're not clean, you're not washing your hair, having showers and things as much as usual. So I just wonder if there's more to it than just how we look, because I saw a Facebook thread the other day, and it was people talking about how they'd bought new perfume during lockdown, and it's only them who could smell it in their house, and that they've never loved perfume so much. And I think even if you don't have a chance to change and you've got your kids there, but a quick spray of perfume might make you feel better, a bit like lighting a scented candle could make your room feel nicer.
Do you know what? This morning, I can't believe, honestly, I do think there's something, I do believe in telepathy, because I'm a bit weird. But this morning, I thought, I'm going to put my really beautiful perfume on. So I've been wearing just an everyday nice perfume, Jo Malone nice perfume, that I call my everyday Sunday one. But I thought, no, I want to put my lovely perfume on. Can't believe you mentioned it. And I've lit my candle. I'm lighting more candles than ever, because the environment that we're in, it's the feel factor that I think, please, going out of this normal that will never be normal again, don't underestimate how clothes, how the visual messages that you give yourself every day, the effect it has on this and other people. But for me, it's massively about this. It's about giving yourself that self-care and that value, giving yourself that value.
Some lovely comments coming in. Polly, do you want to
Yeah, so Kerry Fox has said it's also about being able to control something in a time where there's lots happening that we can't control.
I think that's really agree with that. Really relate to that. Yeah, really relate.
Yeah, and Katie said it's a good question about how to find the motivation. I'm actually getting a sense of motivation from hearing this. There's been no other focus on how you look or feel that I've heard. And it's super important. I know when I've exercised and paid attention to what I'm wearing that I feel more confident.
Yeah.
Definite theme around self-care, isn't there? Coming through.
Yeah, self-care, giving ourselves that lovely hug and that lovely, do you know what? You're doing all right. And if it's not superficial, people can say that even what I do for a living is very superficial, but the effects it has on people's confidence, on people going, I'm all right, mate. And then when I work with somebody initially, sometimes they can cry and I go, should have cried half an hour ago, it's taken you an hour to cry. But they cry because they see themselves differently. The power of this should never, ever be underestimated. That's why I love my job so much.
And you know what? It really shows, and it's lovely to hear. I think to Katie's point there, that it isn't one of those things that we feel like we can talk about right now because it feels like there's so many other things. And actually, even though I'm at a slightly different stage, I think, in my thinking, but it is important. I do look at myself in the mirror at the minute and think you look like a bag of rubbish, like literally about to be thrown into the recycling bin. And I could just put something else on. And so I am definitely, I think after this, I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to get out of this.
I want you to stay like that because that is fun. And you know what also, what about the hair issue? Do you know for men and women, this hair issue, if you don't...
There's going to be a lot of corona cuts, isn't there? There's one next door, they can probably hear me, but the men are doing this kind of self-shave down the sides and then just here. Corona cut, no.
Or the facial hair, so many men with big, like Forrest Gump beard.
Yeah.
What about us ladies?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And I think the other thing I was thinking is that you're generally indoors a lot of the time. So you are kind of just dressing to be inside, but maybe that's okay because when I was, when we were working and doing the commute, for me, the first thing I would do would be get in and put a pair of tracksuit bottoms on because it was a real treat because you'd been trussed up all day or whatever. And actually now we need to carve out time or structure the time a bit more where we get it's a bit like when your grandma used to say, don't put your coat on until you're out, till you feel the benefit of putting your coat on. I've lost the benefit of these now because I've got them on the whole time. I need to mix that up.
I think, do you know what? Actually we've all been very, very casual. Everything's booker. I think, mark my words, I think when we go out now, I think we're going to see a lot more dressed up people.
Yeah, I think.
I think people are going to say, I'm going out and I really want to put a nice frock on, or I just want to get dressed up. Now, before all this, it was like, oh my God, no, I want to be more casual. So I think, mark my words, we're going to start dressing up when we go out.
It's funny.
Oh, sorry, Barry.
No, go on.
On Friday night, my kids invited me to dinner and they cooked me dinner for the first time, which was a jacket potato. It was delicious. And they sent me an invitation and it was red carpet, dress code, red carpet. And I was thinking, oh God. So I got dressed up and they got really dressed up. And definitely we had a much nicer evening because everybody had made the effort and we had, there was a definite sense of excitement and fun that we wouldn't have had if we'd all just been, in our normal daytime clothes. So it does make a difference.
I love that. That's a perfect story to finish on, I think. We're out of time. 10:30. Told you it would go quick, didn't I, Alicia?
I love it. Can we do it again?
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Can I just say very quickly that Colin Newbold has said that he thinks the background on your Zoom meet is important and he's got a low-cost pop-up exhibition stand with his brand on and he ensures that the stand fills the background behind him. Barry, you have a very similar background behind you. I made the choice not to have a background behind me, so it is interesting. It's a conscious, well, it's a decision that being conscious about is helpful.
Yeah, it is. Think about it.
I agree. All right, well, I'm going to go and put some joss sticks on and some candles. And I feel really energized and happy and positive, Alicia. Thank you so much, Polly, both of you.
I loved it. Thank you so much.
Well, we're back again next week. Again, can't remember who, but look out for the emails and all that. Lovely to see you both. Take care.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in.
Bring me a dream. Bum, 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 bum. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bum, 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 bum. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover. Bum, 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 bum. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are